Hello everyone, my name is Abhilash and welcome to my channel. We talk about everything from credit card to personal finance, and today we're going to be talking about why I chose the Chase Sapphire Preferred over the Chase Sapphire Reserve for my Chase setup. So let's get into it. Let's start with the intro offer on this card. As I'm recording this video today, it seems like you can get up to 60,000 bonus points when you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months of card opening. Now this offer might be slightly higher if you are targeted for this offer, but this is what I could find online. It seems like the bonus offer can be slightly higher if you're targeted for the card, but this is what I could find online. This card comes with a $95 annual fee and can be paired with the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Chase Freedom Flex to create your Chase trifecta. You can also create the Chase trifecta by removing the Chase Sapphire Preferred and replacing it with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and then pairing it with the same two cards, which is the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Chase Freedom Flex. I will talk about why I prefer the Chase Sapphire Preferred in my setup personally. Let's talk about the benefits of the card. You have a $50 hotels reward when you book through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal. The card comes with 1 year of DoorDash membership, which allows you to have free delivery on your DoorDash orders. It also comes with 6 months of complimentary Instacart premium membership, and you also get a $15 quarterly credit when you order something through Instacart. To me, the Instacart membership and the reward isn't as helpful because I tend not to use it, but since it comes with the card, I may start using it a lot more than I have in the past. I tend to use Mercato as the choice of online grocery, but if there are things that I can order off of Instacart, I might go that route. If you like to use your Chase setup and use the Chase Ultimate Reward portal to book travel, then the Chase Sapphire Preferred gives you 25% higher rewards when accumulating points from your Chase trifecta. Now, some of you may ask the question, why do we need the Chase Sapphire Preferred? Note that you need the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Chase Sapphire Reserve to be able to transfer your points over to airline partners or to use the Ultimate Rewards portal to book travel. The other benefit of the card is the 10% anniversary boost. So every year you keep the card, of all the points that you accumulate over the year, you get a 10% boost at the end of the year, which is great. The multipliers on the card are also very strong. You get 5x back when you book through the Chase travel portal. You get 3x back on dining, 3x back on online groceries, and you get 3x back on select streaming services. You also get 2x back on all travel. Now, if you look at the Chase terms and conditions, you will see travel is a fairly broad categorization that Chase uses, and so it pretty much covers everything that you can think under the roof. You also get fairly strong insurance coverage, fraud protection coverage, and trip delay coverage, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. If you're someone who's looking at that one card that can become your workhorse card but also give you access to good travel partners, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is very hard to beat when combined with the other Chase cards in the trifecta. Now let's come to the topic of the net fee on this card. The way I like to think about the net fee on a card is you take the annual fee on the card and subtract anything that's of value to you. Now in my case, I'll assume that the $50 credit, the hotel credit that I get, is valued at 100%. That right there brings the net fee down to $45. Now, if you use this card as a workhorse card, then you can use the multipliers and put your spend against it and see what value you get out of it, in which case your net fee will actually be smaller. But in my case, I have different cards that I use for different purposes. So for example, I use the Amex Gold card for dining outside, so I do not use the Chase Sapphire. I use either the Chase Freedom Flex for groceries in the quarter where we have the 5x back on groceries, or the Amex Gold for groceries because it gives me 4x back up to $25,000 in US supermarkets. I tend not to use the Chase Sapphire Preferred for daily spending. So to me, the net fee of this card is $95 minus the $50 that I get from the hotel credit, so it equals to $45. Let's talk about the Chase Sapphire Reserve. The card comes with a $550 annual fee, and that sounds very steep. It quickly gets negated by the $300 annual travel credit that you get when you book your travel through the Ultimate Chase Reward portal. Now, if you travel even once a year and this is the only card you have, you can value the $300 at 100%. Now, if you look at the net fee of this card, it's the $550 in annual fees minus the $300 that you get when you book travel through the Ultimate Reward portal. So a net fee of about $250. Now, there are other things that can give you some value on this card. We'll go through this. To me, I don't see myself using it if I did have the card, but if you do, you can change the math accordingly. Similar to the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you get 1 year of Dash Pass. You get 1 year instead of the 6 months with the Chase Sapphire Preferred of Instacart Premium membership. The difference between this card and the Preferred is that you get $15 credit on the Preferred with Instacart every quarter, whereas you get it every month on the Reserve. The one thing I forgot to tell about the Preferred was that you also get a $10 statement credit every single month for GoPuff, which is also true for the Reserve. Now, if you look at the multipliers for the Reserve, you get 10x back for hotels and car rentals booked through the Chase portal, 5x back on flights when booked through the Chase portal. You get 10x back on dining when booked through Chase Dining. You get 3x back on dining otherwise. You get 5x back on Lyft. You get 3x back on all travel related purchases and 1x back on everything else. Also get a 50% higher reward on your points when you book through the ultimate reward points if you have the Reserve. The Reserve also comes with lounge access. It gives you access to the Priority Pass Select. Now, as you can see, there are nuanced differences between the two cards. Now let's discuss why I prefer the Chase Sapphire Preferred over the Reserve for my setup. As it relates to the lounge access, I tend to rely on my American Express Platinum for access to lounge. And with the net fee of $250 after using the $300 travel credit, that's a hefty price tag to pay for just lounge access. The other reason why someone might consider the Reserve over the Preferred is to get the $50 reward bonus when booking through the Chase Ultimate Reward portal. Now, for me personally, when I have a ton of ultimate reward points, I like to use them and transfer them over to travel partners, especially Hyatt. So again, it defeats the purpose to have the Reserve over the Preferred and pay a hefty premium on the annual fee when you don't intend to use the $50 bonus that you get. Let's dive into an example of how I tend to use my ultimate reward points and then transfer them over to travel partners and make the best use. Now let's take an example of how I use my ultimate reward points, transfer them over to some of the travel partners and get value out of my points. We'll take the example of a trip that we're planning to Tel Aviv mid this year. So I'm going to be looking at hotels. Between the 15th and the 18th of June in Tel Aviv. Now, if you look at the two options available, the option at the top seems to be a good option because it is around the city center. And as you can see, the retail price of this hotel room is about $880. Now, if I booked using points, I would only pay 40,000 points. So if you did the math and looked at the cent per point value you would extract from booking this particular hotel, it would be $880 divided by the 40,000 points you would need to book the hotel. That would translate to about 2.2 cents per point, which is above the 2 cent per point mark that I set as a baseline to book any travel when using any of my card points. Hopefully this entire video was helpful in helping understand my rationale behind why I choose the Chase Sapphire Preferred over the Chase Sapphire Reserve in my setup. Let me know what you prefer in the comments just below the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.